It was always going to go one of two ways last weekend when the Stags went to the league's bottom side. Either they'd shake and slip on the banana skin, or they'd hit their stride and come away with 3 points in a professional display.
Short to McLaughlin, in it comes, pushed away by the keeper, it's running free at the back post, the Stags have turned it in. Barry does well in the challenge, Jordan Barry coming forward, Barry shoots from distance, palmed away by the keeper towards Akins, McLaughlin will turn it in to the empty net on 31 minutes. Mansfield double their lead. Quinn, first time in for McLaughlin, good from Mansfield, man on his shoulder McLaughlin, but does well to turn, finds Stirk, 40 from goal, Stirk coming forward on the edge of the box, looks to roll it in for Akins, Stirk still going forward, it's Ryan Stirk, it's 3 for Mansfield, it's Ryan Stirk who rolls it underneath the goalkeeper Rory Watson. Stephen Quinn has hit the post for the Stags and Mansfield have gone 4-0 up. Stephen Quinn ran forward, hit the ball, it hit ricocheted off the post, and I think it took a touch off the Scunthorpe man on the way in, and after 22 seconds of the second half, it's Scunthorpe United 0, Mansfield Town 4.
It could have been a lot more than 4 as well, as Danny Johnson hit the side netting and broke the stanchion, which led to another stoppage in play. There was tennis balls flying on the pitches, there was nuns dancing in the stands. It was an away game to remember, but more importantly, it keeps Mansfield Town well within the promotion hunt ahead of a very big Easter weekend. Results elsewhere still mean that the Stags are 3 points behind third place Port Vale, but they have that all-important game in hand. It's just a shame that a few more goals didn't fly in at Scunthorpe, as that goal difference between the Stags and Vale is very, very vast indeed in the Valiant's favour. The victory though did put a little bit of breathing space between the Stags and those teams chasing. There's now a 2-point cushion between Stags in 4th and those teams in and around them, including Northampton and Bristol Rovers. Tonight on the Mansfield Matters podcast, we'll take a look at the league standings and have a little look in more depth at that running. According to my calculations, I make it all the way down to Hartlepool in 13th, who could still make the playoffs with the remaining games in League 2. We'll take a look at the running, we'll reflect on that game at Scunthorpe and look ahead to a big Easter weekend. Starting off on Good Friday, when Mansfield welcomes Sutton United to One Call Stadium, a Sutton United side who are still very much playoff contenders. However, they have an Easter weekend where they take on 2 of the sides in and around them, including a trip to the Stags and a home game against Newport. It's not about Sutton United though, it's not about Port Vale, it's not even about Northampton, Bristol Rovers or any of the other sides that are in and around Mansfield Town. It's all about the Stags. This is the show for the fans, by the fans. As always, get involved in the comments and have your say on your team. Why? Because Mansfield always matters. And if you need more proof of that, I didn't even need a ticket for Salford City, yet still stood in the queue for 2 hours and 17 minutes early today to make sure that Clive and Cam got their tickets. How good a friend am I? God, they owe me a Nando's. Not all heroes wear capes, that's all I'm saying. Hello, good evening, welcome to the Mansfield Matters podcast. It's the show for the fans, by the fans. Hope you're all doing well on this Tuesday night. Thanks so much for joining us again. A fantastic end to the season it is shaping up to be. As always, get your comments in the live feed now and have your say on your team. Joining me even to talk all things Mansfield Town, the man who... thinks a change is as good as a rest. He's been moved positions. It's Mr. Alan Wilson. He's back. How are you, my friend?
I'm very well, thank you, Craig. Good evening, Craig, and good evening, everybody.
And also the man who, one of 2 that I stood in the queue for 2 hours and 17 minutes for. It's Clive Parkin. Good evening.
Good evening, Craig. I think I've already thanked you 3 or 4 times, but I'll do it on air. You're a great guy. There's nobody to match you. You are wonderful. I'll chip in towards a Nando's.
There we go. That's the kind of friendship we need here on the Mansfield Matters podcast. And you can tell we've won a game again and Hollyoaks isn't on because he's here. Cam Felton's in the house.
Anybody else hear that violin? No? Anybody else hear that? No? Okay.
I mean, I don't want to kill your vibe or anything, mate, but I still have your tickets. Yes, you might have sent me the money, but I still have possession of said tickets. And we're going to be spending a couple of days together this weekend. So I would probably be nice to me rather than, try and, make a gag. Just because you're back and, you're not watching Hollyoaks for once, I'd probably be nice. Anyway, as always, good evening to you all. Get involved in the comments now and have your say on your team. Where shall we start? I know where we'll start. Let's start with a 4-0 win away at Scunthorpe United on Saturday afternoon. And Cam, to be fair, Nigel Clough was saying there was no absolute givens in this league. And the first 2 minutes where Scunthorpe could have gone 1 or 2-0 up, it was absolutely spot on, wasn't he?
Who are you talking to?
I was talking to Cam. He's disappeared.
Has Cam gone into himself?
It's froze. So I'll put it to Alan. We were great start. Oh, there he's gone now. Maybe I've killed him off with a Hollyoaks comment. Nigel Clough did say, Alan, that there's no gibbies in the league, and the first couple of minutes certainly showed it. It was an interesting start, wasn't it?
It certainly was. That first 3 minutes, that the centre forward number 9, whatever his name was, headed just by the post, and they was on the front foot for the first few minutes. But Mansfield gradually came back into the game, and I think we're the winners in the end. But it's a shame, like you said at the start of the programme, it wasn't a few more. But 4's better than 3, so we just keep going onwards and upwards.
Yeah, onwards and upwards, indeed. I think the big thing, Clive, was to sort of be patient and wait for the goal to come, because you sort of sensed as soon as it did come that would be it for Mansfield. It's just a shame, given goal differences, that it couldn't have been a couple more.
Yeah, I mean, apart from the mistake by Hewitt, which allowed their guy to have a header, which he should have done better with, they didn't make any mistakes for the rest of the game. I thought the team was very competent against a admittedly poor side. They're in deep trouble. I mean, if that's the best they can put out, and it is, because we know they've got a crisis there, they're going to struggle in the league below, never mind in this one. So I really wish them well, because I hate to see local clubs disappearing down the chute. But, we've been there, we know what it's like. But I thought Mr. Clough was a bit disingenuous when he said the half-time score of 3-0 was a bit flattering. I don't think it was, actually. I think we could have had 5 or 6. And maybe should have done. But, I'll settle for 4-0s anytime. And it's a clean sheet, which is always a bonus. And, I'm happy with 4-0. I think if we'd have ended up with 8-0, it would have been rubbing the faces in it a little bit.
Yeah, at some points, though, you can't afford to be too kind and too considerate. That's talking to being kind and considerate. I've let Cam back in. Can you?
Quite right.
Are you there, Cameron?
Hello!
Cameron. Calling Cameron.
I don't know what's happening tonight. I can see Alan and Clive are working perfectly fine, but your audio is working, but your video isn't working properly.
That's just
I don't know what's
working for everyone else, but
it's technical gremlins.
I think you're getting feedback from the sparks on your nylon shirts hanging up behind you.
It's probably true, to be fair. I mean, he's a student. He's a student. He's just not paid his internet bill, obviously. So there we go. There we go. Right, come on. Let's get serious though, Cam. A 4-0 win on Saturday afternoon, and I just hope that Nigel Clough doesn't sort of look back and regret it being more, because at this time of the season, with the league table being so tight, goal difference is going to have a massive say, I think.
Yeah, it will. One big bugbear for us this season is the fact that our goal difference has been very poor compared to everybody else's, and now we're starting to claw that back a bit. I think you look in the horizon, there's definitely at least 2 more games where you're thinking, right, we need to really get some more goals, get that goal difference further up, because there's going to be some tough games between now and the end of the season. But I think it gives us confidence. I don't think we should be worried about the goals that we scored. It was good to finally absolutely batter someone. Yes, some should have gone 1 up inside this minute, but we kept them quiet for the rest of the game. Yes, we were a bit, but other than that, it was. We
weren't slow starting in the second half, Cam, were we?
No, I missed it.
I was Saturday night after midnight, the full match goes up on iFollow, and I was listening to I quite enjoy listening to the opposition commentary, and they were, through BBC Radio Humberside, they were still talking about the rugby game, because it was still half time, and next thing they cut back, and by the time they'd already cut back, Quinn had only just shot, so they nearly missed it. It's just caught a lot of people out there
Yeah, I mean, obviously I had Stuart Watkins with me. Remember, 22nd of April, One Course Stadium. Get your tickets now. Link in the description. And we were sort of talking about, coming back from half time, and obviously it was Ivan Hollett's funeral today, and we were sort of reminiscing over Ivan a little bit. And all of a sudden, we sort of looked up, and the players were not only ready to start the second half, they had started the second half, and by the time we could finish the sentence, and I could sort of to try and form something, Quinn had already let one rip. So, he certainly caught many of people who blast. So I'm glad to hear that it wasn't just me that very nearly missed it. But
there were many Stags fans in the queue at the kiosk or in the lavatories when that went in.
I can imagine. We'll come on to some of the comments in a minute, but there's one thing which Cam mentioned in there, Alan, about sort of being dominant and smashing someone. For me, I don't think we were. I don't think we were dominant. I don't think we were as good as what we could have been. Yes, we score 4 goals. Yes, we get a comfortable win, but we were very, very sloppy at times, and that does worry me a little bit. And I think against a better standard side, it might have been a bit more of a difficult game. And I just don't want us to sort of look back on that and go it was a hammering, because had Mansfield played to their full potential, it would have been a hammering. But for me, it was just a professional. In fact, I said it to Nigel Clough after I went, it's not much of a hammering. It's more of a professional job, and he agreed on that. We could have been a lot sharper.
Yeah, I had to laugh on Saturday because there were 2 things that made me smile. Well, one thing Saturday made me smile, and one thing today when I'd heard about it. First, when the first own goal went in, I thought straight away of Clive, and they got 3-0. I thought, hey, up if they get 1 and Clive gets 6. And you said about the double points, I thought Clive could be in for some big points here. But the second thing that made me laugh today, made me smile a little bit, is what Stephen Quinn said about they all got a rocket at half time. It's not very often you get a rocket, is it, when you're 3-0 up? But fair play to Nigel, because they weren't playing the best football. Now, whether that's because, it was a slightly different team, it were a bit here and there, there were people missing that would normally have played. But, they certainly missed Oates, I think. But, 4-0's better than, like I said before, it's better than 3. But Quinn did say that they got a rocket, and it certainly came out blasting in the second half with a razor.
And rightly so, Clive, as well, because I think we sort of touched upon it there. Yes, a 4-0 scoreline on paper looks like a thrashing, but we weren't at our best, and we weren't finishing off our chances, and we needed to come out and be a little bit more ruthless.
We didn't have a pure striker on the field. I think that's the thing. And had we got a fit Oates, it might have been a massacre. We, as it was, I thought Danny was a little unlucky with his shot that the goalkeeper did ever so well to save. On another day, that would have gone in. But you can only play what's in front of you. And that tends to bring the level down a little bit. And credit to them, they never stopped. But you look at the squad numbers in their side, it's clear they were scratching the bottom of the barrel for players. And in fact, I understand they brought one of their loan players back from Cleethorpes Town and gave him his debut.
Yeah, they did.
Which, says an awful lot. I have a lot of sympathy for the plight of the manager and the players. Obviously, the club's been very, very badly dealt with by its owners. And I feel really sorry for the fans. They've done nothing to deserve this. And whilst I don't applaud anybody running on the pitch or throwing tennis balls, that was a very modest way of displaying their anger at the situation.
Yeah, it could have
and
got
full
very,
marks
very
to the
ugly.
groundsman, by the way. He got a lot of stick from the fans, but he sucked it in and enjoyed it.
Yeah, he certainly got his moment in the limelight. Let's delve into some of the comments then tonight. Keep them coming in. Have your say on your team. As always, we might gloss over a few which are very similar, but we'll do our best to get through as many as we can. Stags Chat kicks us off and says, final match will be exciting for all Stags fans, and me personally cannot wait for each match to come around. We were begging for a big win to keep us going, and Scunthorpe was it. Ashley says, definitely going down to the last game of the season. Yeah, we're going to touch upon the run-in a little bit later on. Being jobless now, I've had a bit more time to have a little look at the fixtures and have a little look at who's playing who, etc., who's got a game in hand when. So we'll go through a little bit of that later on. The Mansfield says it's all to play for. This is turning into a season that has had it all. Injuries, suspensions, dropping down the table and springing back up. Let's hope we finish it with promotion. Come on, you Stags. Craig says, what a great day. Atmosphere outstanding. Stags win 4-0 and got a few pints owed for being at the ground for 3 hours this morning getting Salford tickets. Yeah, absolutely. There was a fair few there this morning. Had a lot of chat with those who were around me in the queue. I mean, we were together for like 2 hours. I mean, I think we were having a little reunion party in 10 years' time and going back and celebrating the day. But yeah, it was a good atmosphere down there this morning in the pouring rain. And well done to everybody who stuck it out in the queue for Salford tickets. Yeah, I'll come on to some of those conversations a little bit later on. But there's certainly a good feeling in the air, which is really good to see. And yeah, it was a great away day. No Nathan with us, as you'll notice tonight. I believe he is watching. He's been a little bit ill of late. He was in the queue this morning, having stood outside for 2 hours in the rain. I'm sure he's tucked himself back in bed with a green tea, but he was doing an Alan Wilson impression on the group chat earlier. He was very, very croaky as well. So we wish him a speedy recovery, but I've got a sneaking feeling that he'll be fine tomorrow afternoon. I'm not going to say the time when we frequent a certain chicken shop. So I got a feeling he might be
Nando's. That's what it is. Medicinal.
Yeah, that's it. Final matches are going to be exciting to Stags chat, but personally I can't wait for each match to come around. Our run and form has been fantastic. Scott says, how are we not selling out in home games in the position we are in? Looks as if Friday might have been close, so Alan needs to get us fans going before kickoff. Yeah, of course, Friday's home game with Sutton United, if you've missed it in the last half an hour or so, has been made an all-ticket affair. So if you're thinking about going on Good Friday, you need to get yourself either down to One Call Stadium or get yourself on the Stags ticket website to get your ticket, and I'm sure crowds will certainly be up there. And again, Alan, it just shows, doesn't it, how the tension and the atmosphere is building to go and to make that decision to make it all ticket and to make sure that everybody's sort of enjoying it and getting as many people through the turnstiles as possible.
That's it. They just want to get as many people there as they can, don't they? Because if they make it all ticket, I just feel sorry for the people that, like other people are at work and they can't get tickets. And, they may not be able to get on Friday through either work or, other commitments. But, everybody who can get a ticket, I'm sure will. And it will be a really good atmosphere on Friday. And let's hope we hear some very good singing from Q Block, Quarry Lane and the lower West stand as well. Well, the old West stand as was. It's Ian Greaves stand now, obviously. Yeah, I'm sure we'll all be singing and rocking.
I think this is a real key point, Cam, now to use Friday as a springboard. Obviously, the Easter weekend fixtures are going to be huge for us anyway, but in terms of getting the fans in on the back of that 4-0 win, getting that little vibe going, getting that tension built up a little bit more, I think that's what we need. So there's a little bit of added pressure for me on the players come Friday afternoon to come out and respond, because if we can play to the energy of the supporters, I think it's going to set us up for a real big finish, especially when you consider the 3 out of the last 4 games at the end of the season are, of course, on home turf.
Yeah, I was going to say not including A and B blocks in the Quarry Lane end. There's 842 tickets left available for Friday's game.
That's on the online sales only, though, isn't it?
Yes, but that goes off of when I think the ticket sales go through on when the ticket sales are done in the club shop, it's still refresh the website and it takes them tickets off availability. The only ones that you can't buy online are the family tickets, which are A and B. So you can't really take, but they sell quite good anyway. But either way, it's going to be a fantastic atmosphere. It's going to be a crowd. It's really, really annoying that we've got such a away end, though, for me personally, because other than the odd few, hardly anyone ever fills that stand. So a team like Sutton might bring, maybe because it's bank holiday, they might bring 200-300, if that. It's the only downside for me.
It's difficult, Cam, isn't it? Because the stand is one unit. There's only one set of entrances to it. Other clubs have the luxury of being able to carve their stand into 1 or 2 sections and still segregate people. And we don't have that, and it's not going to change in a hurry. I mean, we are going to get the occasional small team, and I use the words loosely, that will only bring a modest number of fans. And Sutton, under any circumstances, are one of those teams. I think it might be nearer 400 this time, but even so, to take your point, it's a waste of 1,000 seats.
It is a real shame as well, because there is nowhere separate for them to go, and I think this is where it's so difficult to try and come up with a solution, because there quite simply isn't one. I know at nighttime games sometimes in the past, when clubs haven't been bringing many fans or it's not been anticipated, there's been the block in the bottom of the West Lower, the Ingreaves Lower, that's used for football in the community tickets, that's sort of been blocked out. But then that actually
used it before.
Yeah, but then that actually takes off the bottom right side of the West Stand's concourses and toilets. So then you've got all the other blocks. You can segregate the fans and whatever, but then you've got to use all the other blocks. It just doesn't work logistically. So it's I'm sure it's one which David Sharp might be thinking of in future.
Does this give us a reason to do the Bishop Street stand-up?
There's always a reason for doing the Bishop Street side of the ground up, whether it's a stand or a terrace.
All in there.
It's not as easy as you might imagine. I mean,
Correct.
Just taking the old structure down will be quite expensive. Then you've got to make the terracing fit for purpose, whether you put seats on it or not, whether it's standing or whatever. And then the biggest problem is access. And, I can imagine they might be able to do it from the North Stand alleyway there through where the floodlight is at the moment, past the old toilets. But that's got to be made to happen. And of course, if people are being allowed in there, they've got to have facilities as well. They've got to be a lavatory for them, and there's got to be somewhere they can buy a burger or whatever. So I think it's never going to be that easy. Much as fans, we know all the solutions are there. Promotion will actually nudge that nearer to happening, I think.
Yeah,
and certainly the more 6,000 plus attendances we get on a regular basis is going to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, we've got to. It's getting the sustainability now, isn't it? Getting that level there for those things to happen. But I'm very sure, Alan, that David Sharp will be aware of all these things. He'll be listening into these conversations, reading forums online, reading people's posts, and taking these into consideration. Because, like he said at the evening a fefew months back, these things haven't escaped his notice, but it is a very long process, which is almost frustrating when you could easily sell an extra 1,000 tickets for home fans on Friday, but you just can't, because it's not a quick fix. You can't just click your fingers and make it happen. It's not football stadium simulator, is it? It's real life.
No, it did say then with the night that we went to with him and Nigel, it did say, things like that take as long as 18 months, to get sorted and get right and get the money in place and whatever. But he is aware of the fact, is aware of the sound system, is aware of the, every little problem that seems to be creeping up, because we've not been in this position too many times, have we? So I'm sure he's on the ball, and things will get sorted.
Sooner or later, the underinvestment during the Haslam era is going to catch up with us, and it's starting to. I mean, you mentioned the sound system. The ticketing system is not good enough. And I don't think hospitality for the ordinary fan is as good as it should be either. But they don't happen overnight, and there's no easy solution. No,
there's certainly not. I know, Clive, you mentioned it a few times. I'm a massive advocate of that idea of having sort of a more structured sort of fans forum sort of discussion group which the club can liaise with. But again, it's these long-term things. Let's go back to some more of your comments. Mark says, Mansfield Matters Virgin here. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for letting us pop your Mansfield Matters cherry, if you will. Why all the negativity on Facebook? We need to get behind the team, whatever happens. Let's get out of this division with great support. I'll be cheering on every home game as I check us out first. Yeah, absolutely. It's
because we're all bloody fickle. That's what it is.
Well, there is that. I think there's a desperation, isn't there? And it's part and parcel of football supporting that. Oh, why couldn't it have been 6-0? Well, or Akins isn't pulling his weight or whatever. There's so many different permutations and things, and everyone's got their own opinions. But do you know what? What I like most about that, Clive? It's the fact that is what makes being a football supporter. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
It is. We presently have 6,000 managers, don't we? And they all know better than the guy who's paid a good salary to do it. I can't ignore them. That's my problem. When I read stuff online, I feel obligated to respond to it, and I shouldn't do. I just think there's an awful lot of Cam used the word fickle. I just don't know. Some people are either 100% or zero. It's either black or white. There's no grey for some people. They don't have a balance, and I shouldn't respond. I really shouldn't.
I think you should change your name to Clive the Nibbler Parkin. I think that might be more of an apt name for you of late. Let's go back to some more comments. Let's turn things back to the footballing side of things. Alan LN on YouTube says, it's very worrying that McLaughlin and Oates are both injured. Playing without them makes it much harder to get the 3 points with them being key players. I'd say more Oates than McLaughlin, in my personal opinion. McLaughlin, he's not fully injured. I think Nigel Clough has sort of said today it's not a full-on injury. He might struggle for Friday, but should be okay for Monday. It's just about managing it. And I think we've got players, especially with Perch back now and playing, that can sort of cover in those areas, and we're all right down that side. But Oates is a big, big worry. And there was an interesting post on his Instagram the other week before the Scunthorpe game, and I just hope that it doesn't mean his season is done.
Yeah.
I hope, even if he misses the Easter weekend games, if we can get him back for the last 4 or even the last 3, that could be the difference. And I think now it's all about Nigel Clough just sort of managing that a little bit, and he's got to find the right balance now between protecting his players for potential playoffs and potential run-ins and actually going for it. He's got to find that right balance, because if we go for it now, at this point, and then we lose him for the rest of the season, aka the playoffs, it makes it much harder for us. But then vice versa, if we don't play him, we're going to miss him. We might fall out. So Nigel Clough has got a real tough job at the moment on his hands.
And that's where, the squad comes in, isn't it? Every squad person, like Quinny said on his iFollow interview today, every squad person has his job to do. But it is slightly worrying for me, because Macca seems to be getting these niggles quite regular, when he's got either a pull or a strain or whatever, because I thought he played, with the sound of it, he played extremely well on Saturday until he went off. Apparently, he was one of the best players. So, it is slightly worrying with Macca, but like you said, we've got James Perch who can fill in quite admirably there. There's no problem. And I thought Rawson did well as well, by the sound of it, on Saturday.
He did.
Yeah, I think it says it all about the McLaughlin thing, whereas I think, if Lapsley had not been suspended and we maybe had one more fit, I think McLaughlin would have been rested anyway, because Perch slotted in at left back. I mean, I saw the team and I immediately thought, we're going to change system here and maybe try and push forward, but we didn't. Perch slots in at left back, does a really, really good job. All right, they've not got a lot going forward, to be fair to them, but I thought we coped very well, and I think we'll do similar, because the way we play at home against Sutton. I think Carlisle will be the interesting one to have a look at. But let's talk Stephen Quinn a little bit, Cam, because in his iFollow interview today, he was, Nigel Clough was praising of him after the game on Saturday, and sort of Quinn sort of said, I'm driven on actually by missing those 6 games through suspension. I knew I did wrong, and I want to get this club over the line. So it'd be interesting to see. It's good to have that energy and that enthusiasm there, and he's got the brain of a 36-year-old footballer, all that experience, but he's also got the heart, the legs, the fitness, the pace of someone half his age, which is that's crazy, isn't it?
It is. I was saying to my dad on the way home after the game on Saturday, if it wasn't for that 6-match ban, I'd have probably said Quinn was my player of the season. But I think he has used it to drive him on. I think he's got as much passion as anyone. I think he's probably got the most passion at the entire club. I don't know whether that's just because he enjoys being at Mansfield. I don't know whether it's because he enjoys the fans, the atmosphere, or because it's Clough. It could just be because it's a manager that he's along with and he likes. But he's just so positive, and I think as much as some people might take it as a negative, it was. I can't remember who we argued with. One at coaching staff on the touchline at one of the home games quite a while ago. Yeah, gone. But it's just that anger and the fire, and yes, that anger can sometimes boil over. Hence the Harrogate game. But
listen, we both know why that anger and that passion is there, and it's obvious.
Is it?
It should be.
I think it's something to do with the colour of one's hair, I believe.
Correct.
I didn't want to say.
I'll say this. I mean, he is worthy of consideration for man of the season anyway, even though he missed those 6 games. His recent contribution to the side's not gone unnoticed. And I think he makes Macca a better player as well.
He does, yeah.
And I think, but to pick up on an earlier point, we have got a squad that's versatile, and there's some good players who can't get into the first 11. So we shouldn't be fearful of not having our 1 or 2 key players available. And if that means they come back a bit further down, refreshed, that's a good thing. And I hope we're not in the playoffs, but every instinct I've got says we need to be prepared for it. So any holidays you're thinking of taking in June, forget about them.
Yeah, make sure you cancel them.
Yeah, so I think it'd be delightful if we can get to the last game of the season having secured the 3rd place. Everybody can relax then, but it's going to be tough.
My mate Wilson has just popped up and said, Quinn, player of the season. Nice to see you back on English soil. I hope the suntan is treating you well, and I hope you've been through duty free. Otherwise, might not have you alongside us on Friday. No, you'll be there, mate. I'm looking forward to having you back alongside me on comms for the rest of the season. He also says a big 6 games to go indeed. We'll delve into that a little bit more later. I just want to come back to a couple of these comments. Let's go for this one from Paul first. Just want to say the result at the weekend cheered me up after having a week of COVID, so thank you, Stags. Also, the ticketing situation can't be helped when there's only 2 ladies behind the window. They're just trying their best. Also, just want to say as well, it'll be interesting when it comes to the vote for the player of the season of who's going to get it. Yeah, absolutely. And Nathan says, we have enough versatility in the squad to cover, but Oates' threat of running at defences is a miss. I thought that's where Johnson did quite well on Saturday when he came on, Clive. He showed glimpses of what he could do. All that was missing from him was a goal, but, it's nice to know that there is a player that can run through and sort of play a similar role, not as effective as Oates, but a similar role, playing off that midfield, running into space and running at defences.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that he wasn't started against Scunthorpe. I thought it was a game made for him. But Clough has his own ways of looking at these things, and we didn't miss him in the first half, clearly. So yes, I think he needs. It's like Akins. He needs a little bit of luck now, I think, to give himself an end product.
Yeah, he certainly does, and I think that's one thing we were talking about a little bit in the queue today, Alan, about Lucas Akins, because people are going, he's sort of turned into the online scapegoat at the minute, that he's not scoring goals, that he's not good enough, and things like that. But he's not the type of player that's going to come in and replace Reece Oates. He's not the type of player that's going to come in and score 10 goals. He's the type of player that will come in, be physical. You saw it against the Scunthorpe defenders. All right, that some of them are young lads, but you see it every week when he plays. He's physical. He drops into pockets. He holds things up. He spins lovely little balls around the corner. Really cuts players open and players feed off him. And you know what? I don't think this has happened yet. I mean, I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I've seen Oates partnered with him yet. And I would love to see that, because imagine Akins dropping in deep to get a ball from midfield, spinning one round the corner for Oates. Oates runs onto it, bang, 1-0, and repeat.
And he also drops down defensively. His defensive duties are second to none as well, same as Barry in that respect. They both do a really good job, but his hold-up play is as good as anybody else in the team. Sometimes his passing's not quite there. I must say that, different to Barry. Barry does seem to hold the ball up better as well as Akins, but his passing seems, but that will come. I just think he needs a goal. And I think it is obviously being put in the team for a reason. Nigel Clough has seen something perhaps that we haven't just yet, through years and years of playing with the lads. So, just it can only come good, I think.
What I like about Lucas Akins is you can fire any old ball at him. It can be shoulder high or whatever, and he'll find a way of controlling it. And that's useful because it gives the team time to shape up. It gives options, and he's always dragging at least one defender with him wherever he goes, and that's making space for other people. And I think that he doesn't get enough credit for that. And now they did Bowery early in the season, if you think about it. He was, if you like, the popular whipping stick at the time, and I think we have to have one, I guess. And I just think it's unfair, but. While they're having a go at him, they're shouting good things at everybody else, I suppose.
I think you sort of saw actually what Akins could do in McLaughlin's goal actually on Saturday, because the keeper saves it and everyone's sort of following Akins, looking at him sort of running in. It leaves a massive gap for McLaughlin and he gets a simple tap in. So, and again, I think similar to Sturck's goal, he's took one or two defenders away, which allows Sturck to chase onto the ball and get on the end of it, which you can't really underestimate that quality, to be fair. So let's delve in a little bit to the running then. I want to do a bit of a snap poll with you guys on this season, because obviously Nigel Clough's has been talking about it a little bit today in terms of the remainder of the season. 6 big games to go, as we say. League table is ever so tight. It's one of the tightest that I think I've seen for a long time, especially in and around the playoffs. Let's give you a reminder of how it stands at the moment after the round of fixtures on Saturday. So Forest Green's still top. They're on 79 points. It's theirs to lose now, isn't it? Exeter are chasing them down on 74, but very much Forest Green's to lose. Exeter in second, as we say. Port Vale then in third. And for me, even though they're only 2 points behind Exeter in second, it's third place where we should be focusing all our energies on now and getting in there, because we're well capable of doing it. Obviously, we've played one game less than Port Vale, which means we've got a vital game in hand. We're only 3 points behind them as well. Northampton and Bristol Rovers in 5th and 6th, respectively, on 67 points, and Newport in 7th on 66. Just outside the playoffs, Salford in 8th, Tranmere in 9th, both on 65. Sutton, who we play on Friday, in 10th on 64. Swindon then in 11th on 62. And mathematically, due to the games they've got left, both Crawley and Hartlepool still could get into the playoffs if there was a massive result swing. And you never know, stranger things have happened. But what I want to come on to is where our expectations should be, because we are fully capable of getting into that third place spot, but we've been burnt by that before, by needing 1 point on the final day or 1 point in the final 3. Do we need to make sure this time around, and I'm going to put this question to all of you, I'm going to start with Alan, then go to Cam, and then go to Clive. Do we need to ensure this time around that we are fully focused as a mindset on, if we don't get the top 3, if we don't get that third place spot, that it isn't over, that it is still ours to go and win?
Yeah, I think Nigel will keep them grounded anyway, Craig, to be fair. But on that point that you're making, I just think, like I've said before in the podcast 2, 3, 4 weeks ago even, the last 4 of the last 6 games are at home. And that's very, very beneficial to us, because if we can get 12 points, which there's no reason why we can't with the run that we've been going on, does that take us to 81? I do believe it's somewhere
Don't
like
ask me to do maths, Jesus Christ.
Well, I think have we got 69 now?
69 at the minute, yeah.
Yeah, and if we win the 4 games, obviously 69 plus 12 is 81. And if we can get anything from Carlisle, which could be a bit, they've just had a bit of a resurgence, haven't they? But if we can get a decent score anywhere else, it'll put the pressure on Exeter, because they've got Bristol Rovers to play. I think they've got Tranmere to play, and it's not just an easy running for any of the teams. I mean, like us, we've got Forest Green, the last match of the season. But I think Nigel will keep them grounded, and we know it's a cliche, but it'll be 1 game at a time. And whatever happens from that game will transfer onto the next game. And, we concentrate on what we do. Never mind anybody else, whether we finish 4th, 3rd, 7th, or wherever. We concentrate on our game. Let everybody else take care of itself.
Cam?
I know, I fully understand what Alan's saying, but I suppose knowing that we have got this game over Port Vale, plus the teams that they've got to play, surely it gives us a little bit of optimism because they've got some really, really difficult games.
They've got a very tough Easter weekend, which I'll come on to in a minute.
I'll just say Port Vale, they're away at Hartlepool Friday. They've got Bristol Rovers at home Monday. They've then got Walsall away. Then they've got Newport at home the same day that we play Salford on the telly. And then on the final day, they've got a long trip down to Exeter.
Yeah, and it's an interesting one. We'll come back to the fixture in a second.
I know we can't look too much into the future and we've got to focus on us. But if you're a player, you're thinking like, yes, we've probably got the more favourable running, but we've got to stay focused because if we've got the more favourable running, we're more likely to trip ourselves up because we're thinking too far ahead. So we've got to we've got to focus game by game, but on the grand scheme of things, this is a fantastic opportunity to go up. And if we mess it up now, I don't whether we'd have the mentality to go into the playoffs and do it. I think we could bottle it again.
Clive, your thoughts on the focusing issue before we delve into fixtures?
Yeah, we've got to target the third place, and which means getting a better outcome than Port Vale. Port Vale have got the goals advantage, so they've effectively got an invisible point that we need to overcome. So my view is we need to take 4 points from the Easter fixtures, and they need to drop a game in there. That puts us in the driving seat.
I'm going to go through a few of the fixtures now. When I was looking at this, for me personally, I think it's the third place spot we've got to look at. So I haven't looked at Forest Green's fixtures and I haven't looked at Exeter's fixtures. I've looked at the fixtures for Port Vale, Northampton, Bristol Rovers, Newport, Salford, Tranmere, Sutton, Swindon, Crawley and Hartlepool. And I've split it down into a few categories. Obviously, current playoffs, playoff contenders, who I believe are Salford, Tranmere, Sutton and Swindon, and then rank outsiders in Crawley and Hartlepool. And I've had a little count up at how many teams each team has got to play within that bracket, and which also includes Exeter and Forest Green, the top two sides. Out of all of them, both us and Port Vale have got to play 4 of those sides that are between 1st and 13th. Fortunately for us, our 4, 2 of which aren't really content. In fact, I'd probably say 3 of which aren't really massive contenders because of results and sort of when we play them. Whereas Port Vale's is much, much tougher. You mean, you look at, like Cam said, Hartlepool and Bristol Rovers, the next 2 fixtures, and then the final 2 fixtures, Newport and Exeter. Exeter on the final day of the season on their home turf may well need a point to potentially win the league. So it's certainly an interesting one. It's certainly interesting to see how it goes. But, there are also other teams in there that have got to play each other and take each other on. And that's what makes it really, really exciting for me. You look at the likes of Sutton. I was on one of their podcasts the other week, and they're still on a bit of a downer after losing the Papa John's Trophy final. They've got us and Newport to play over Easter weekend. They've also got Crawley to play. Swindon have got Hartlepool, Forest Green to play. Salford, they've got Bristol Rovers to play. They've got us to play as well. The one team who perhaps have the 2 teams that perhaps have a bit of a easier run, if you like, are Tranmere in 9th, who I wouldn't write off at all. I think they're a very good side. They've only, out of the top 13 teams, they've only got Exeter to play, which they take on Easter Monday. And the other one in there is Northampton, who have also got Exeter to play in the penultimate game, in their penultimate game of the season as well. So it's very, very interesting that everyone's got to play everyone. But I think actually, Alan, it's this weekend which could be the big swing. Starting on Easter Friday, on Good Friday, Hartlepool in 13th welcome Port Vale in 3rd. Northampton go to Oldham, who are of course scrapping for their lives down at the bottom. They were so unlucky not to get a point from Port Vale. And, they're level on points at the minute with Stevenage, with a slightly better goal difference. Although Stevenage, of course, got the game in hand, which is unfortunate for Mr. Evans against us. Big one, Bristol Rovers in 6th against Salford in 8th. And then Newport welcome Crawley. Tranmere in 9th go to Bradford. And then obviously Swindon in 11th, they go to Harrogate. But you look at probably those 3 games, Hartlepool against Port Vale, Bristol Rovers against Salford, Newport against Crawley, Alan. And Friday could be a very, very interesting one to see how results swing. It could set things up very nicely for Monday.
It could, and I'm hoping it will, Craig, because with the home advantage that we've got, we can extend that home winning run that we've got, and it'll only be beneficial to us. But at the end of the day, like I was saying, you can, as daft as it sounds, Mansfield could win all 6, and so could Port Vale. As daft as it sounds, and they've still got a better goal that difference us. So we would finish probably 4th. But you can only take each game as it comes and, take it from there. We win on Friday, hopefully, and then we take it to Carlisle. Now, if Port Vale slip up, like Clive said earlier on, that's only beneficial to us and the others around us. They'll be trying their damnedest not to slip up, same as we are. So it makes for an absolutely fantastic end to the season. And I can see it going, like somebody said in the comments earlier on, I can see it going right down to the wire.
Yeah, it certainly makes it exciting. One thing for me, Clive, was the movement of the Salford game, because I wasn't quite sure whether it'd help us or hinder us. Obviously, final away game of the season, now moved to Bank Holiday Monday, so it's on Sky Sports, 12:30 kickoff. It will be a sellout. I'm surprised that it hasn't already sold out with the amount of fans that were down there this morning. If there's any tickets left, I imagine it'll only be probably less than 100.
I think it was 93, Craig, last time I saw it.
Okay, so yeah, again, only a handful of tickets left on sale then. But yeah, Clive, like I was saying, I wasn't sure whether it would be a help or a hindrance, but I think we're one of 2 TV games that day, aren't we? And we play first, which is going to make it very, very nervy. Yes, we get a bit of extra rest after that midweek game in hand, but also we then don't have a lot of time to prepare for the Forest Green game. So it swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
I don't think it makes any difference at this point. I think Easter always brings fixture congestion, and obviously immediately after Easter, it's the run into the end of the season. So I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I don't like, in principle, fixtures being buggered about like this, but it happens because of the power the media have, and it's flattering that they want to show this game live, I suppose. But I mean, we'll sell all our tickets out, and I'm pretty sure a number of Stags fans will end up buying online from Salford's home end as well, because they don't fill their stands very often, do they?
I'm sure there might be a few fake Mancunian accents that day. I'm sure Cam can give them a few lessons.
I'm looking forward to going as well, because the last game before the season collapsed due to COVID I'd already bought tickets for this game away.
Yeah.
Still in my drawer. I wonder if I could trade them in, but it just happened to be the game that was the first to be sacrificed on the back of the crisis. So I've not been there. Looking forward to going.
Yeah, it's certainly been a long time coming. Let's delve back into some more comments. Go on.
Sorry, just on whilst we were on about tickets, Carlisle. I don't think they've 100% sell out, but they're no longer available on magstickets.co.uk. I don't know whether it's sold out. There might be still some left, but they've gone offline. So if you want to go to Carlisle, pull your finger out and get down to Field Mill tomorrow.
There you go. Advice there of Cam Felton. Simon in the comments says Johnson should be given a chance and a start on Friday because apart from Oates, he's the only striker with goals in him. Carl says, who thinks Jason Law has a big role to play this year? It looked like he was on his way in Jan, but Cloughie seems to favour him over the other young lads. Well, most of the other young lads, to be fair, Carl, are out on loan, but I agree. I think he does see something in him. He's a good lad with a good attitude, is Jason Law. He's been in and around the club for a number of years and always seems to bring him on. He's another one of those players who's a utility player as well. And, you know, we see, don't we, Alan, when he last started, he had a really, really good game. And the only thing that I think Clough sort of says about him is it just needs to be a little bit sharper in terms of being prepared to come on, because he comes on and he's not ready for the first sort of 5 minutes of him being on the pitch. He's sort of not ready yet. He just needs to step that up a little bit and be ready to hit it like when Clough goes, you're on.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Craig. Because when he did come on, he did look a bit slow, and there was the odd pass, and they took the ball off him. But once he got to grips with the game and the speed of the game, I think he was as good as anybody else because he's got a lovely, sweet left foot. And did you see today where Sturks being kept on, being offered another contract by Birmingham?
Yeah, he has. Yeah, but I don't think there was much chance of us getting him anyway. I think that just shows the testament to the work that Nigel Clough and the coaching staff have done with Ryan Sturck. To be fair,
it's good news for Sturck, though, isn't it?
Jason Law could be the next Sturck. He's got a sweet left foot.
I wouldn't presume from Sturck's extended contract that he won't be leaving. I think all it will mean is that anybody who wants to buy him is going to have to write a bigger check.
And if they want to develop him, it also means that it'll be a club that's in League One because, like everyone else with young players, they want him to step up. So we may have a chance if we go up, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We focus on now.
Correct.
Let's go back to some more comments. Ellen says we've got some very difficult fixtures like Salford and Forest Green, so I don't think we have any advantage over them in terms of fixtures, to be fair. Craig says, who do you think will go down? Barrow, in my opinion, they have a terrible run-in. And Mark also says, enjoying listening whilst cooking dinner. Well, make sure you've got the smoke alarm on, Mark, just in case we do ramble on a little bit. We are prone to that here on the Mansfield Matters podcast. Let's go back to Craig's question. To be honest, I've not looked at the bottom running because we're not involved in it. To be fair, I think
not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah, maybe it would have been might have been a different story if things hadn't worked out. But me personally, obviously Scunthorpe are done. And to be honest, if they don't recruit well in the summer and they don't get the investment or sort the backroom stuff out, they will go down again. They were very, very poor side. I feel sorry for Keith Hill there. I'd like to see Stevenage go, and not because of Steve Evans, because they escaped it, didn't they, a couple of years ago, and they've always sort of been lingering down there. And it's also a longish trip as well, so get that one out of the way. I know Barrow
Steve Evans is there.
And Steve Evans is there. And I know Barrow is as well, but I like Barrow. I've got a soft spot in my heart for Barrow for certain reasons. So me personally, Scunthorpe and Stevenage, I think Oldham have probably got enough luck in them to stay up. So there you go. Right, let's turn our attentions to other things. I was going to play a little bit of Farron Rawson for you, but we've actually been going on for so long, we've actually run out of time. So if you want to watch the interview with Farron Rawson or with Nigel Clough, make sure you head to our YouTube page where you can watch all of those post-match reactions. Of course, the Stags are on the road again on Monday as they head up to Carlisle United. If you want to travel with the Stag Supporters Association, make sure you set your alarms nice and early for that one. It's £15 for Amber members and juniors. It's £20 for Blue members and £30 for non-members. Departure is 9 a.m. And the all-important number you need if you want to book yourself a seat on the coach is
07967 689 597.
Yes, 07967 689 597. Get yourself on the coach. I'm sure there'll be details about that upcoming trip to Salford as well in the coming weeks. A reminder as well, nice little thing which some Stags fans are doing over the last week or so, which I've noticed, Clive, is there's been a bit of a Just Giving page set up in support of the drummer, which is good because he's always creating a nice little atmosphere. So it's nice to see that pop up.
I've put in. I got a choice of one donation for one value and another donation which was higher, which guaranteed that the drummer wasn't next to me. So
you paid the other one, yeah? You paid the higher.
Well,
only I knew that was the way to get you away from us.
In all seriousness,
a higher price.
The lad does a good job, and I think the Just Giving appeal is a worthy one. So I was quite happy to chuck a few bob in, and I noticed lots of people have as well. So.
Yeah, absolutely. If someone, I do apologise, I sort of logged onto this a little bit late. If someone's got the Just Giving link, feel free to post it in the comments and we'll give it a share on our social media platforms as well. And whilst we plug in things, of course, we have to plug this, don't we? Of course, we've got to plug Stag Stories. It was really, really good to see Stuart Watkis on Saturday at Scunthorpe. He was in fine form as always and really complimentary about the side and our chances as well. So if you want to go along to Stag Stories Live with Stuart Watkis, Friday the 22nd of April, One Call Stadium, it's just around the corner now. The link for tickets is in the description. If you're a SSA member, it's absolutely free. All you need to do is use the code SSA2122 at checkout to get yourself a ticket. Tickets elsewhere are just £5. You can either pay online or you can come and join us on the door. However, capacity is a little bit limited, so make sure to get your seat and just get yourself a ticket in beforehand, so you know that you've got a seat and that you're going to be in on the night. Really looking forward to it. Friday the 22nd of April at One Call Stadium. Doors open at 7 o'clock and it'll get underway about sort of 7:45-ish as well. Full details released on that next week. But it's a week on Friday. Really, really looking forward to it. It's come around really quick, Alan, hasn't it?
It has, yes. And don't forget the biscuit bingo. I'll be selling tickets £1 a go on the night. There's a line of 2 lines and a full house. And all the prizes will be biscuit. Just a little bit of fun.
Yeah, and we are apparently, there is a little rumor going around in the Mansfield Matters group chat that Alan is singing the jingle live. Don't know if we've had a little word with our PA man yet, but I'm sure he'll have to get the right track sorted.
He's coming dressed as a fig roll, I'll tell you.
Maybe. Yeah.
There you go. I mean, would you do it dressed as a biscuit, Alan? Just to add a bit more value to it.
He's showbiz all the way through.
He is, isn't he?
No, I think there's certain things you can and there's certain things you can't do. And I think that would be taking it a little bit too far. But the biscuit bingo will go down a treat, I think.
Yeah,
stick
absolutely.
a spotlight on him, he'll start performing.
Absolutely. And of course, there will be other entertainment on the night as well. We're going to have a Back to the Noughties disco for you, which Cam will be doing. And don't worry, Cam, we've got you sorted. We've actually written out a list of songs for you because we know that you weren't born until about 2006.
Rude.
Also true. I don't know why I was going to fetch a mug then when I've actually got one on my desk. We've also got a very limited number of these still remaining, the Mansfield Matters mugs. So we will be getting rid of the rest of them on the night. So make sure if you're a Mansfield Matters podcast fan, you can support the pod by getting yourself a mug, which you can buy on the night of Stag's Stories Live. You probably might win one. Yes, you are. Probably may win one. Probably might win one on the night as well through the raffle and through bingo. So get your tickets. The link is in the description. Stag Stories Live, Friday the 22nd of April. Stuart Watkins, Neil Richardson, Andy White. There will also be some special guests popping up on the screens as well. And there might even be a few special guests popping in on the night as well. So get yourself a ticket. Stag Stories Live. Really, really looking forward to it. If it's the first time that you've ever watched the podcast or listened to the podcast, it's great. Thanks so much for
Where have you been?
That is also true. 5 years been going, but let's not be dismissive of people. Get yourself to One Call Stadium. Come and support the event. We're really, really looking forward to it. Talking of things that we're looking forward to, that's Friday at home to Sutton United. It's time for podcast predictions. And my goodness, was there a swing in the league table this week? I mean, Clive, just remind people of your prediction for the Scunthorpe game and your rationale behind that.
My prediction, and it had to be corrected straight away because I said they would score one via Sinclair. Wrong on both counts. But then I forecast 6 goals. Bowery, Johnson, Quinn, Hawkins, own goal and McLaughlin. So I've got a few points in there somewhere.
You did. You actually scored. You were the highest scorer out of us all on that day. And to be fair, I never usually honour own goals, but I thought, you know what, I'll honour it. I'll honour it for you. Wish I hadn't now because it's sort of taking you 1 point above me, which is a bit annoying. But there you go. So you actually scored 1 point for getting the result correct. Nobody got all 3 because nobody predicted 4-0. Nathan went for 3-0. Me and Cam also went for 3-0. Alan, you went for 3-0. I went for 4-1, so I was very, very close. I knew I should have backed us to get a clean sheet, but you just never know. So Clive was the top scorer in that one. And here is the league table as it stands in podcast predictions. Ricky in 10th on 15, then Roger in 9th on 26. Cam is then in 8th on 28.5. Alan a point in front of him on 29.5. Then it is Steve in 6th in 40.5. Nick in 5th, so your dad's doing better than you again, Cam, on 42.5. Steve just outside the top 3 on 45.5. Then it's me. Then it's Clive in in. If I added that up right, I think I have. Let me just check that. What did I get? I got
Get a grip, man.
I know. I'm just.
It's never been your strong
51.
point, mate.
I know.
1 minute you're saying I've crept above him, and now he's sticking me behind him again.
Yeah, I know.
Who
Oh no!
were?
Do you know what? Do you know what I was doing? I was reading the wrong table out. That was last week's. That's last week's.
Oh,
Never mind, let's move on.
I'll go for the top 5. Nicky in 5th, 43.5. Steve in 4th, 46.5. Me in 3rd on 49. Clive in 2nd on 50.5. And Nathan in the lead on 52 points. Nathan's not here to predict because he's got a croaky voice. He'll do his in the usual fashion. So Clive, then comes to you. Your prediction for Friday only, please.
2-0. Win. Bowery. Quinn.
Excellent stuff.
That rhymed.
Yeah, it did. I am going to go for a 3-1 win. I'm going to go for Quinn. I'm going to go for Akins, and I am going to go for. I think we need more goals from midfield. I think Longstaff's probably overdue one again, so I'm going to put Longstaff back in there. Alan, you're next.
2-0 to the Stags win. Barry and Hawkins. I think you might sneak one on Friday, sorry. Hawkins and Barry.
And Cam, finally.
I'm going to go 3-1 as well. DJ, Hewitt,
Oof.
and Maris.
Oh,
brave choices.
Hey.
And if you want to get involved in podcast predictions, the link that you need is in the description. You've got to do it via the link, and you must do it 1 hour and 1 minute before kickoff. Right, that's almost all we've got time for. A reminder that the tickets for Stag Stories Live are on sale now. Link is in the description. £5, or if you're an SSA member, it's absolutely free using the code SSA2122. Get yourself there. We really want to see you pack out the place for Stuart Watkiss, Neil Richardson, and guests. And Stuart Watkiss was the man who was alongside me for full match commentary at Scunthorpe United on Saturday afternoon last weekend. All right, we might have nearly missed one of the goals, but it was still a very good game. And it's time now to reflect on that game as the Stags put 4 past the league's bottom side, Scunthorpe United, to move well within promotion contention.
Mansfield Town are just 3 points behind the automatic promotion places with a game in hand this afternoon. They face one of their toughest tests, in my opinion, in the final 7 games of the campaign as they come to the league's bottom side.
Just going to jump back on and say that's very poor editing from me. It's the right audio, but the wrong graphic, but stick with it.
Mansfield Town are just 3 points behind the automatic promotion places with a game in hand this afternoon. They face one of their toughest tests, in my opinion, in the final 7 games of the campaign as they come to the league's bottom side, Scunthorpe United, who were desperately fighting for their lives. They could fall through the trapdoor today if results go against them. Mansfield Town need to not worry about that, but also make sure they stay focused on putting out an 11 this afternoon who do not think that the points are in the bag before a ball has even been kicked. Nigel Clough has made 3 changes to the side which lost at the league leaders Forest Green on Tuesday night. Out go the suspended George Lapsley, whilst Ollie Hawkins and Kieran Wallace drop to the bench. In come James Perch, Farron Rawson and Ryan Stirk. Short to McLaughlin, and it comes punched away by the keeper. It's running free at the back post. The Stags have turned it in, and it's Farron Rawson who pulls away. John Joe O'Toole there claiming a touch, didn't manage to see who got the final touch, but Mansfield are ahead here on 15 minutes. It was Longstaff's corner, short to McLaughlin, whipped in by the Stags fullback, and either O'Toole or Rawson at the far post managed to get that touch and turn the ball into the back of the net. Scunthorpe United 0, Mansfield Town 1.
Yeah, it's a bit of a scruffy, messy finish, but nobody cares. Good ball into the box. That spare man has got in. I'm not sure who's put it in at the back post, but super goal, and hopefully now Mansfield can go on from strength to strength.
The official goal has been credited to Grant, so it looks like it may well have been an own goal. Bishop's ball forward finds Lucas Akins, who manages to find Jordan Barry, does well in the challenge. Jordan Barry coming forward, Barry shoots from distance, palmed away by the keeper towards Akins. McLaughlin will turn it in to the empty net, and on 31 minutes Mansfield double their lead. It's Stephen McLaughlin who makes it Scunthorpe United 0, Mansfield Town 2.
That could be the killer goal now. I think it could be a really long 60 minutes for the Scunthorpe lads now. I'm not sure they've got the belief that they can get themselves back into this game. It's up to the Stags now to remain professional, keep playing the football, and I'm sure if they do that, there's going to be more chances come along.
Perch, now Quinn, first time in for McLaughlin, good from Mansfield, man on his shoulder, McLaughlin, but does well to turn, finds Stirk, 40 from goal, Stirk coming forward on the edge of the box, looks to roll it in for Akins, Stirk still going forward, it's Ryan Stirk, it's 3 for Mansfield, it's Ryan Stirk who rolls it underneath the goalkeeper Rory Watson, and on 37 minutes, it's Ryan Stirk who makes it Scunthorpe United 0, Mansfield Town 3.
There's no way back now, surely, for Scunthorpe. It'll take literally a miracle now for these lads to get back.
Stephen Quinn has hit the post for the Stags, and Mansfield have gone 4-0 up. Stephen Quinn ran forward, hit the ball, it hit ricocheted off the post, and I think it took a touch off a Scunthorpe man on the way in, and after 22 seconds of the second half, it's Scunthorpe United 0, Mansfield Town 4.
Oh, it's a great start. He's just got the ball, he's got some space in front of him, he's travelled, good left foot shot, bottom corner. I'm just feeling sorry for Keith Hill, the Scunthorpe manager. Whatever he said, within 20 seconds, he's just come completely out of the window.
Hewitt will now throw it long, and the referee has put the whistle to the lips and brought an end to the game. Full time, Scunthorpe United 0, Mansfield Town 4.
So there you have it. Mansfield Town beat the league's bottom side, Scunthorpe United, by 4-0. It could have been a lot more, as Nigel Clough says, and it perhaps should have been as well. But the Stags will take the points. That's what matters at this stage of the season, as they gear themselves up for an Easter weekend where they welcome fellow playoff chasers Sutton United to One Call Stadium and then make the trip to Carlisle on Bank Holiday Monday. Looking forward to that one. If you can't get to either, make sure you tune in to Mansfield 103.2, where you will not miss a kick of the action for either of those games. Lee Wilson is back from Barbados. He's still tanned up and ready to go for the remainder of the campaign as well. I just hope he's been to the duty free to get us some chocolate and some sweets to get us all the way through. Don't forget, there's still time to get your ticket for Stag Stories Live as well on Friday the 22nd of April. Make sure that you get your ticket for that one. It's going to be a fantastic night. Stuart Watkins, Neil Richardson, Andy White all with us, and some special guests to be announced as well. The link that you need is in the description. Make sure you get involved with that now. And if you're a Stag Supporters Association member, use the code SSA2122 at checkout and you'll get your ticket for absolutely free. And of course, that's not the last you'll hear of Mansfield Matters and me constantly plugging Stag Stories Live this weekend. Cam and I will be live, hopefully, from the Lake District on Sunday as we bring you a very special Sunday sermon ahead of that trip to Carlisle on Bank Holiday Monday. For now, though, that is it from the Mansfield Matters team. My thanks to the panel. My thanks to all of those who were out braving the rain earlier on and had a nice little conversation with as well at One Call Stadium. This is the show for the fans, by the fans. This is the Mansfield Matters podcast. And isn't it brilliant to carry on following this journey? Who knows where it may lead as the finish line comes well within our sights.